Hello everyone, welcome back to Secret Things. Today, we're going to talk about a style staple that's taken the fashion world by storm, the varsity jacket. The varsity jacket, long associated with American jock culture, has infiltrated wardrobes worldwide, from Alexander McQueen to H&M and everything in between. Every designer has their own take on varsity jackets. Today, their influence has taken them beyond the pitch and onto the catwalks of fashion capitals around the world. But despite their ubiquity, do you know where they originated from or how they became famous? Well, you're in luck because we're going to take a closer look and dive into the fascinating story behind varsity jackets. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to learn all about the history of varsity jackets. Let's go. University is where the word varsity originated. Did you know that the term varsity is actually short for university? In North America, it refers to the top sports team representing a high school or college. And surprisingly, the word dates all the way back to the 19th century. What exactly a letterman is? When a high school or college student reaches a certain level of participation on their varsity team, they may be designated as a letterman. Being a letterman entitles them to a letter or monogram patch. This is often something that represents the school or college itself. It could be the establishment's initials or their logos. For example, because this patch is attached to a sweater or a jacket. These items of clothing are also known as letter sweaters or letter jackets. Varsity jackets can be traced back to letter sweaters worn by Harvard University baseball team athletes in 1865. It was considered an honor to have the letter H embroidered in the middle of your jumper. That was highly prestigious back then, and you were regarded as one of the select few. Some of the better institutions only provide patches to students who excel in other academic courses and who also demonstrate a well-rounded personality. Phoenix Union High School in Arizona, USA, is thought to have been the first high school to be involved. A class photo from 1911 features a pupil who is donning a letter jumper with a P badge stitched on the left. It's interesting to note that this idea grew to include awards for other classes in areas such as performing arts. Letter jackets didn't exist until the 1930s. The trunk of the jacket was made of wool, but the sleeves were made of leather. Athletes' complaints about feeling chilly in their letter sweaters led to this. Varsity jackets were adopted in schools and universities all throughout the U.S. during the course of the next 5 decades, including some of the most esteemed institutions including Harvard, Yale, University of Pennsylvania, Princeton, Columbia, Brown, Dartmouth College, and Cornell. The phrase varsity jacket was also coined around that time. Varsity rose to prominence in the 1980s. Varsity jackets were first recognized by American sports outside of schools and colleges in the early 1980s. The early 1980s also saw the introduction of the first satin-style varsity, which reduced production costs and allowed it to be worn in warmer parts of the country. The Boston Celtics basketball team and the Los Angeles Raiders football team had some of the most successful design. Celebrities have always been a driving force behind the explosion of fashion trends, and the varsity is no exception. Most of us remember Michael Jackson's massive single Thriller's music video. He wore a red and yellow varsity jacket throughout the cinematic horror video. Bonus fact: that very jacket was auctioned off in 2011 for an incredible $1.8 million after some fierce bidding. In the late 1980s, fashion designers began to take an interest, and in 1987, American fashion house Stussy produced varsity jackets using the traditional wool and leather method. The Stussy 1988 Homeboy varsity jacket, which costs around $1,000 in 2022, is one of the most iconic varsity jackets ever made. Princess Diana wore varsity jackets from the Philadelphia Eagles. Diana, Princess of Wales, is one person you wouldn't expect to see wearing an Eagles varsity jacket. She was seen wearing it twice in 1991 and 1995, and there's a fascinating story behind it. Princess Grace of Monaco died in 1982, and Princess Diana attended her funeral, where she met a man named Jack Edelstein, a statistician for the Philadelphia Eagles. Princess Diana and Edelstein were discussing American football and the Philadelphia Eagles when the princess inquired about the team's colors. When he told her it was green and silver, she told him they were her favorite colors. So, when Edelstein got home, he gathered some Philadelphia Eagles gear and mailed it to her. Today's fashion varsity jacket. These jackets fell out of favor in the second half of the 1990s and early 2000s, but they made a huge comeback in the latter 2000s, with every major fashion designer offering their take on the Varsity. There are too many to name, but a Bathing Ape, Alexander McQueen, Palm Angels, St. Laurent, Burberry, and Amiri all have their own take on Varsity. But don't be discouraged if those brands are out of your price range. Everyone has options, with designers like Superdry, H&M, Gap, and Zara joining the craze. Varsity jackets have been around since 1865, originating from America's historic prestigious Harvard University. Over the years, their use spread across colleges and high schools nationwide before being used by sports teams outside schools. Despite their athletic roots, varsity jackets have since become a fashion statement worn by everyone from high school students to celebrity. Their popularity has resulted in a fashion boom worldwide, with fashion houses to suit all budgets offering their take on the classic jacket. So, whether you're a sports enthusiast or a fashionista, there's no reason not to own your very own varsity jacket.